Hi, myself, 22 years old, and my girlfriend, 23 years old, are college students and have been together for over 2 years. She goes to the dog park every day and doesn't have many friends, so I'm always happy for her when she's excited about making some there. It's great that their dogs can play together, and she has someone to talk to. However, a few months ago, she became friends with a guy, around 26, 30 years old, who recently moved to our area. I took notice when he invited her to meet up a couple of times outside of the dog park. At first, it was to go hiking with their dogs. Later on, he asked her to come with him and his friend to a comedy club. She didn't attend either of these events, but initially, I encouraged her to go because she has good morals, and I really trust her. Tonight, when I got off work, I called her to ask if I could stop by and drop off some leftover food, which is something I regularly do. When she answered, I heard a lot of noise in the background and didn't think much of it. I asked if I could come over, and she said she's not home and that she's at a bar drinking. It was 10:30 p.m. when I called. This surprised me because she is usually a homebody, and this is unheard of. I asked who she's with, and she gave me a name I've never heard before. I asked who that person was, and she gave me a nickname that I also don't recognize. She gives everyone at the dog park a fitting nickname. I was still clueless, so I asked her again, and she responded, "I'll tell you later." It turns out that this guy has two nicknames, because when I suggested his other one, she said, "Yeah, that guy." I was confused and responded with, "Oh, okay." She finished the call by saying that I could stop by when she's home, and that was it. I was perplexed. As I mentioned, I trust her, but something didn't feel right. I assume while I was at work, he invited her to go to the bar when they were at the park. I haven't had a chance to talk with her about this yet because she didn't come back until 11:40 p.m., by which time I was too tired to discuss it. But an intimate setting for just the two of them is concerning, and it also upset me that she never told me in advance. I wonder if she would have ever told me if I hadn't called. I'm not accusing her of anything, but it seems obvious that this guy isn't just being friendly. I also question whether he's aware that she has a boyfriend. I will get more information about it when I see her tomorrow, and I'll give her a chance to explain. But even with the information I already have, isn't the situation itself already alarming? If the roles were reversed and I did that with a girl I met, I imagine I would be accused of cheating. I highly doubt she slept with him, considering she invited me over afterward. But it still feels like emotional cheating. We've been going through a bit of a rough patch and are uncertain about our future together, especially since we will graduate and won't be living in the same state anymore soon. It's possible that she's preparing for the possibility that we call it quits when that time comes. Part of me is also considering this due to the lack of communication between us for the past couple of months. If that's how it ends, I would still love and respect her tremendously, and I will always look out for her. I hope we can remain friends. But for now, we're still together, and it's a matter of principle. Normally, she's very open and keeps me involved in what she's doing. Even if it was strictly platonic, I don't know that for sure. Shouldn't I get a heads up? Why did I have to find out the way I did? Did she not consider how this looks and what I might assume? Or didn't she care about that? What would you think and how would you react? Thanks for your time and any comments. Edit. She did not participate in the first two invites, but she did attend the third one. I thought I stated that. My bad. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You need to go to the dog park with her and meet the guy just to show him and others there that you exist. She has a whole social network of friends there, and it would probably be good to be part of it to a degree. If this guy just wants to be friends, then he should have no problem including you in these outings. I think it's okay to talk to your girlfriend and express that you're worried that this guy isn't looking at her as a friend, but as a potential romantic partner. Ask her if she's met his girlfriend or if he's talked about any girls he's interested in. If she says no, then ask if he's invited other people from the park to these outings. And then ask if he's inviting both her and you or just her. Help her come to the conclusion that he doesn't just want to be friends. Comment 2. In general, this doesn't sound odd or concerning or intimate to me. It sounds like your girlfriend making a friend. I don't think you should expect to be informed every time your girlfriend goes out with someone in the evening, or where there will be drinking, or whatever it is about this specific thing that's triggering alarm bells for you. But you do say that she keeps you involved with what she's got going on. And perhaps that means she does routinely tell you ahead of time every time she goes out with a friend. If so, and if this is a weird departure from the norm, then sure, it makes sense that you feel odd about it and it's worth talking about. Now for the update. Thanks for sticking around to hear more. So after that night at the bar, things took a turn. My girlfriend started acting weird, like she was hiding something. She'd be on her phone a lot, smiling at texts, and when I asked who it was, she'd just say, "Nobody." It was driving me nuts. Then, one day, I came home early from class and found her crying in the living room. She said she lost her grandmother's ring at the dog park. That ring meant the world to her, and she was devastated. I felt bad and promised to help her look for it. We spent hours at the park, searching every inch, but no luck. She was so upset and I couldn't stand seeing her like that. But here's where it gets crazy. The next day, that guy from the dog park, the one she went to the bar with, he shows up at our door with the ring. He said he found it near the benches. My girlfriend was over the moon, hugging him and all. I was thankful, but something felt off. Why would the ring be at the benches when she always played with the dogs far from there? A week later, I overheard her talking to someone on the phone, whispering about how he can't find out and it's not the right time. I confronted her, and she brushed it off, saying it was just a surprise party for my upcoming birthday. I wanted to believe her, but my gut told me otherwise. Then the bomb dropped. I got a call from a buddy who works at a jewelry store. He told me my girlfriend had come in with that guy to get the ring appraised. They were laughing and looking cozy. My buddy thought we had broken up and she was with someone new. I was floored. I didn't want to believe it, but the evidence was stacking up. I had to know the truth, so I confronted her again. This time she broke down and admitted that she had lost the ring on purpose. She felt trapped in our relationship and didn't know how to tell me. She thought if I saw how much the other guy cared, finding the ring and all, I'd let her go without a fight. I was angry, hurt, and felt like a fool. I had been manipulated into feeling grateful to the guy who was trying to take my girlfriend away. We had a huge fight, and she ended up staying at a friend's place. I was left alone, trying to piece together what just happened. I thought we were solid, but I guess not. It's been a rough couple of weeks, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it all. Thanks for reading. My fiancé demands I convert to his church, but then postpones the wedding over fake doubts. So I expose his secret meetings with his ex-wife and watch his world crumble. I am a 34-year-old female, and my fiancé is a 32-year-old male. We started dating in February of 2023 and quickly realized that we wanted a future with each other. In January of 2024, he proposed to me and I said yes because I love him, just as he is, and I would not change anything about him. We set a date for July 2024. That being said, in February 2024, he was acting very distant, as he has done in the past. So I knew something was wrong. He said that it was a problem that I did not belong to his church, and that it would eventually cause confusion for his daughter if I went to my church. I was already questioning if my church was the right one, but I wanted to be sure before I converted to his. Unfortunately, he gave me an ultimatum. If you don't join my church, I cannot marry you. That did cause me to question what was keeping me from joining, and I ultimately decided that this was going to be the right decision for me and for our family, especially now that we would have the same faith and could help his daughter grow her own faith. Since he has 50% custody and mom does not currently have a faith, he started to get excited about the wedding. We went to sign a contract for our reception. No money put down, but just a signature. I had my bridesmaids buy their dresses. I purchased a photographer and scheduled our engagement session. I bought a wedding dress and sent it in for alterations. Then, 3 days ago, March 15th, he said that he believes I only converted for him, that if he didn't give me the ultimatum, I wouldn't have converted, that he does not see me having passion to learn more about the faith, that I'm only doing this because I want to get married so badly. And he believes that if we get married, I will change my mind and go back to my old church and try to take our future children away from our church that we go to now. Basically, he wants to postpone the wedding until he can get over the anxiety and gut feeling he has about my faith. He believes if I start inquiring more about the faith, that will help him not be nervous about marrying me. Also, he still does not know if he wants children with me, but that is a separate issue. I don't know if I should continue in this relationship with the constant sick feeling in my stomach and feeling of never being good enough. I'm already divorced, and it was my ex that lost interest and felt that I was not good enough to be his wife. My faith has always been the quality that I love the most about myself, and to think that someone does not find it genuine or that I would use it to tear my family apart is devastating. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. This relationship does not sound healthy or even prepared for marriage, since you are not even solidly sure about one of the biggest things, children. It makes me feel like he wants you to be someone he commands versus someone he loves unconditionally. You have to prove you are worth his time, and I feel as if this will definitely not be the end of his demands. Comment 2. Why do you want to marry this controlling religious man who keeps giving you marriage ultimatums about church? If he wanted to marry someone from the same church as him, he should have made it a dating deal breaker from the start. Walk away and leave him to try to find someone from his church who will put up with him and his ultimatums. Now, for the update. Thanks for sticking around for this update. So, the past month has been pretty tough, and not the fun kind. Remember how I said my fiancé was questioning my faith and all? Well, things got worse. I've been going to his church, trying to show him I'm serious about our faith and our future. But it's like walking on eggshells. One wrong step and his trust wavers. Then, out of nowhere, his ex-wife, the mother of his daughter, decides she wants to join his church too. She's never been religious, so it caught everyone off guard. At first I thought, great, more common ground for co-parenting. But I had this nagging feeling something wasn't right. Turns out, I was onto something. Last week, I found out they've been meeting outside of church to discuss their daughter's faith. I stumbled upon messages on his phone when he asked me to check his calendar. It was like a punch to the gut. They weren't just talking about their daughter. They were reminiscing about old times, and he was confiding in her about his doubts with me. I confronted him, and he tried to brush it off as nothing, but I could see the guilt in his eyes. He admitted he was confused and needed time to figure things out. I was furious, not just at the betrayal, but at myself for not seeing it coming. I've been bending over backward for him, and here he was finding comfort in his ex. The wedding plans are now on hold, and I'm left wondering if I'm just a placeholder until he decides what he wants. It's like history repeating itself, and I feel like I'm not good enough all over again. But here's where it gets even messier. His sister, who's always been on my side, told me she overheard him talking to his best friend about how he's considering getting back with his ex because it might be better for their daughter. Can you believe that? After everything we've been through, he's thinking of going back to her just like that. I've been trying to keep it together, but it's hard. My friends say I should leave him, that I deserve better. But it's not that simple. I love him, and I've invested so much in this relationship. Plus, there's his daughter, who I adore. I can't imagine walking away from her. So now I'm stuck in this limbo, trying to figure out if this relationship is salvageable or if I'm just delaying the inevitable. It's a mess, and I'm right in the middle of it, trying to pick up the pieces of my heart and my faith. Thanks for reading this update. My fiancé secretly meets with her ex and plots to replace me. So I expose their lies and watch their custody battle implode. Hi everyone, I need some perspective here because I am genuinely at a loss at whether I made a big mistake and how I can make it up to my girlfriend. Context: I, 23-year-old male, am engaged to the love of my life. Olivia, 21-year-old female. She has a son, 6 years old, who I will call Noah. Noah is a great kid, he's funny and amazing, and him and I have a great relationship. He always has a very solid relationship with his father, who he aims to see every fortnight. Dad hasn't turned up the last 3 times. When Olivia and I started dating, she made it very clear She was not looking for a father figure for her son. She said I needed to have a good relationship with him, but should not try to take over the role of father for him, as he already has one. This I have respected, and though we do many father-son activities together, camping, hiking, swimming, bike riding, and have a very good relationship, I have always tried to follow Olivia's lead with raising him. Now, while we were eating dinner last night and having a bit of a celebration, because Noah and I broke up from school for Easter, I am a teacher. He out of the blue calls me Dad. It was something that I don't know, seemed casual, like, Dad, can you pass over the cheese? I stopped for a second and looked at him like, oh, did you mean to call me that? You would be shocked by the amount of times I'm called Dad, and even sometimes Mom, lol, by the children in my class by accident. I smiled, passed over the cheese, and said, I'm named, not Dad silly. And he replied back, I wish you were my dad. I smiled again and just said, you have a great dad who loves you, but I will always be here. And we smiled at each other. I looked over to Olivia, who looked furious at me. She stormed off upstairs, and I was genuinely confused as to what I did wrong, because I thought that is how she would have wanted me to respond to him. We ended up having a huge argument. She claimed I didn't love Noah because I wouldn't let him call me Dad. Even after I tried to explain I was just trying to follow what she told me she wanted at the start of the relationship. And she said, well, things are different now. She ended up leaving and going to stay with her sister, taking Noah with her. I haven't slept all night, just trying to think what I should have done. I've sent a text over saying I'm sorry, but she hasn't responded. I don't know what I did to make her react like this. She is literally never emotional like this. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. The title sounds really bad, but you 100% did the right thing. Your fiancé is being an entitled jerk who thinks the world revolves around her thoughts, not her actions. I wouldn't be surprised if she pushed this on Noah. Things like this turn gradually. Even if Noah says he'd like it, it's a bit different actually going for it. What should happen is you discuss things with your fiancé, decide on boundaries, then involve Noah in the discussion, and only then start making decisions. You definitely should have the "what does marriage mean for the three of us" discussion, but it has to be a discussion, not a fantasy in your fiancé's head that she gets upset about if you don't follow. Comment 2. It's interesting to read this because I have been on the other side of the line. I was once Noah, and having my stepfather correcting me after calling him Dad really hurt me for most of my life. I am 28. Sadly, he wasn't as nice as you were, but I understand it's a situation that's damaging for everyone involved. Olivia felt frustrated, possibly because it sounded like you rejected her son. But that shouldn't have been the case after what you had discussed. Possibly she reconsidered the agreement as the time passed, and you and Noah got closer. Certainly there is a communication problem on her side, but I can understand where she's coming from. Now, for the update. Thanks for sticking with me here. So, after Olivia stormed out with Noah, things went from bad to worse. I was left alone, racking my brain about what I could have done differently. The next day, I went to work, but I couldn't focus. I kept checking my phone, hoping Olivia would text back. She didn't. It was like she vanished, and I felt this hole in my chest getting bigger. Then, 2 days later, I got a call from Olivia's sister. She said Olivia wanted to meet and talk. My heart was racing as I drove over. I thought maybe we could sort things out. But when I got there, Olivia dropped the news. She said Noah's dad had been in touch, and he wanted to be more involved in Noah's life. He was moving back to town and wanted joint custody. I was stunned. I mean, the guy hadn't shown up for his own son in months, and now this? Olivia said she thought it was best for Noah to have his real dad around. I couldn't believe it. I felt like I was being replaced after all the time and love I'd put into being a part of Noah's life. But here's the kicker. Olivia's sister pulled me aside and told me something that made my blood run cold. She said Olivia had been seeing Noah's dad behind my back for a while now. They'd been planning this for months. The whole argument, her being furious, it was all an act. They wanted me out of the picture. I was floored. I didn't want to believe it, but things started to make sense. The late nights Olivia had been working, the sudden changes in plans, the way she'd been distant. I felt like a fool. I had been so wrapped up in being there for Noah and Olivia that I didn't see what was happening right under my nose. I left Olivia's sister's house feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. I didn't confront Olivia right away. I needed time to think. But while I was trying to sort my head out, another disaster struck. Noah had an accident at school. He fell off the monkey bars and broke his arm. I rushed to the hospital, and there they were, Olivia and Noah's dad, acting like the perfect family. I was pushed to the sidelines, watching them comfort Noah. I wanted to be there for him, but I felt like I had no right. I was just the guy who got played. I stayed until Noah was out of the hospital, but I kept my distance. The next few days were a blur. I moved out of the house Olivia and I shared. I found a small apartment and tried to start over. But it was hard. I missed Noah. I missed the life I thought I had. I was angry at Olivia for lying and manipulating me, but I was also angry at myself for not seeing it. I started to pick up the pieces of my life. I focused on work and tried to keep busy. But every time I saw a father with his son, it was like a punch to the heart. I had lost my family, and there was nothing I could do about it. It's been a week now. Olivia finally texted me. She said she was sorry for how things turned out, and that she hoped we could be friends. Friends, after everything that happened. I didn't know what to say. I haven't replied. I guess in the end, I was just a placeholder, a stand-in dad until the real one came back. It hurts, but I've got to move on. I just hope Noah will be okay through all of this. He doesn't deserve to be caught in the middle. Thanks for reading. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.